All right. So my name is Hope. I am one of the wellness specialists here. I know most of you are probably expecting Sophie today, but she is on some well-deserved break from the holidays. So I'll be leading us through our movement break today. So we will start off standing up if you can. If you don't want to stand up or aren't able to, you can definitely do the first part of this sitting down. We're going to come to a standing position with our feet just slightly wider than our hips. And we're going to start off with a little bit of swaying today. Just kind of transferring our weight from foot to foot, from side to side. You can have your hands on your hips or down by your sides, whatever is more comfortable. For today's movement break, you will want to have something that doesn't roll for a little bit of a balance aid. You can either use a chair or you can use your desk, the edge of your desk. So we are just taking some time right now to center ourselves in this moment, in this space, and kind of bring some movement and fluidity to the hips that we've probably been sitting on for most of the day so far. Just getting some gentle movement in through the hips, swaying from side to side. And when we come to stillness here, we are going to try to get our weight evenly distributed between both feet. So directly centered with even weight between both legs. All right, so now that we've kind of centered ourselves a little bit physically, we'll do um, some mental centering with a couple of deep breaths. So let's take a couple of nice deep breaths, bringing the hands over the head as you inhale and hands back down to your sides as you exhale. One more, inhaling, hands back down as you exhale. Now let's bring our fingertips to our lower stomach, and we are going to give our core muscles a little bit of a wake-up call. So we'll be doing a little bit of abdominal stabilizing today. So we're just going to remind our bodies that these ab muscles are under here by pulling in our belly button to our spine, hold for a second, and then release. Just kind of warming up these muscles. Perhaps we haven't used them in a while. If you'd like, you can match this to your breath. So as you exhale, you can pull your belly button in. And as you inhale, you can fill up with air a little bit. You can do a couple like that. And then we're going to pull these abdominals in for just a few seconds and continue to breathe normally. So you might feel that breath maybe more in your ribs, more in your chest as you have your abdominals pulled in. All right, lovely. Let's take a couple more deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. On this next one, you'll grab your hands at the top. You can clasp your hands, and we're going to tilt very slightly to the left side. As you tilt to the left, you're going to bring your right elbow and your right shoulder back in space a little bit and look under that right elbow. Come back to center, and let's do the other side. So tilting very slightly to the right, bringing your left elbow and left shoulder back in space just a little bit, looking up under your left elbow. And back to center. All right, so now we're going to place our hands behind our back. You can either have your palms touching, which will give you a little bit more opening in the chest, or you can have your wrists squared off, which will give you a nice wrist stretch, especially if you type a lot during the day. And with your hands behind you, you're gonna feel that nice opening through your upper chest and through your shoulders here. And we're just going to turn our nose from side to side while opening up the chest. Not going too far, just as far as feels comfortable from left to right. I'm not going to do too many of these because it does make me a little bit dizzy. So we are going to come to one side. I'm going to stay to my right side. And now I'm going to bring my nose up and down on this side. If you find one spot that's particularly sticky or feels particularly good, you can hang out in that one spot for a while. Otherwise, we're opening through our upper chest and bringing our nose up and down on the right side. Once you're satisfied there, you can come to center, shake it out a little bit. And let's clasp now our hands with the opposite thumb on top. So the one that feels a little bit funny as we come to the right and bring our nose up and down. Feeling a nice opening through your chest and through that right side of your neck. All right, coming back to center. Now we're going to bring our fingertips to our temples. You might feel tempted to clasp your hands behind your bed, but we don't behind your head, but we don't want to have any crunching or pulling in the neck. So we're just going to lightly bring our fingertips to our temples. We're going to do some standing cat-cow. So for the cow, we'll tip back slightly, open up your elbows, open up your shoulders, head up just at an angle, and then we'll round forward, bringing your elbows down, feeling a nice stretch in the upper back, elbows down together, tuck your chin. Opening back up, feeling those elbows reach to the sides, shoulder blades slide down your back, chin lift slightly, and then rounding in, elbows come together and center. Now at your own pace, inhale as you open, and exhale as you curl. On these, you can also bring your abdominals in as you curl in for that reminder that we practiced at the top of the session. Opening and bringing a slight crunch to your abdominals. All right, one more opening and one more rounding. You can come to neutral, shake it out a little bit. That was some love for our upper body, so now we'll give some love to our lower body. This is where you might want to have your chair handy for some balance. If you are worried about balance, you can bring your chair in front of you. I'm going to leave mine off to the side now so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to bring our feet just slightly wider than hips and take a couple of toe lifts, just lifting your toes off the ground. Now, if you're wearing shoes, you might not move your toes a whole lot, especially if your shoes are tight, but just a couple of little lifts in the toes. Now we're going to center our abdominals again and bring both toes to the left, which is where you might want to grab on your chair. Now to establish our balance, we're going to take our front foot and heel toe out to the side so that our feet are now hip width apart again. So now our back leg is straight, front leg has a soft bend. You can put your hands on your hips to remind yourself to hold those abdominals in. And we're going to feel this stretch here through our right hip flexor. And to change the angle on the stretch, we're just going to slightly bend and straighten that front knee. Now, we're not really doing a lunge exercise here. We're just changing the angle of where we feel the stretch in our hip flexor. Keeping our cores tight. A nice stabilizer as well as a nice hip flexor stretch. Once you're satisfied on this side, you can heel toe your feet back to center. And again, come to have your feet just slightly wider than your hips. And sway a little bit, reestablish yourself. Let's do a couple more toe lifts off the ground. Then center your abs and slide your toes to the right this time. Right away, let's heel toe that right front foot out to the side, bringing our feet as wide as our hips again. Back leg straight, front leg with a soft bend. Recenter your core again, and come to bend and straighten that front leg, changing the angle of the hip flexor stretch in the left this time. Keep your core in tight as you stretch. You might also feel this in the back of your left leg there, which is nice when we've been sitting all day long. Do a couple more on this side. And now let's heel toe our feet back to be directly underneath our hips. So you have your feet together now, and you will want your chair for balance for this next one. So I have my chair on my right-hand side. So I'll put my right hand on my chair, and I'm going to bring the weight to my right foot. Now with my left foot, I'm going to lead with that heel, and we're going to go slightly back and to the side, working on some strengthening for this glute medius right here. Keep your core in tight as you lift and lower, leading with that heel, getting some lateral movement, some lateral strengthening, which is not a way that a lot of us move, especially if you're a walker or a cyclist or a jogger. All of that is forward motion. We don't get a lot of side motion. So this will help with core stability as you pull in your core, and also with some side leg strengthening, making sure that your heel is coming to the side and slightly back. You should be starting to feel it in this moving leg and maybe a little bit in your standing leg as well. All right, let's switch sides. So I'm going to move my chair over to my left side, hold on to it with my left hand, center myself over both feet, and then gently shift my weight to my left leg. And leading with my right heel to the side and slightly back. Keeping my core in nice and tight to help with balance. Working on the stabilizers that are going to keep us safe during this icy season. It can be helpful for keeping you upright when you're walking on the ice. Reminder to pull in your belly button again. I've got a friend. Reminder to lead with your heel and going to the side and slightly back. So this muscle that you might be starting to feel this in, we're going to stretch in just a minute and it will feel lovely. All right, come to center, shake it out a little bit. Now we're going to sit in our chair. So we'll do a little bit of a glute stretch. So let's come to the very edge of our chair here. Feet at a right angle, sorry, your knees at a right angle, feet flat on the floor. Let's cross our left ankle over our right knee. Sit up nice and straight. I'm pretty tight, so I can already feel that. But if you don't feel it, we're gonna lean slightly forward and back, kind of coming in and out of this stretch. Keep your left foot flexed. Just rocking slightly back and forward. Feeling that stretch in your left glute. If you find a spot that feels particularly good, you can stay there and hang out. Otherwise, you can continue moving in and out of the stretch. Once you're satisfied on this side, let's switch. Reset, feet both flat on the floor, sit up nice and straight, come to the edge of your chair. Then your right ankle is going to cross over your left knee, keeping that right foot flexed and leaning slightly forward and back. Pause where it feels good to deepen that stretch, or just keep moving. Remembering to keep that right foot flexed, sitting up nice and tall, even as you lean forward, keeping your spine nice and straight. All right, we've got one more set of stretches for you. Let's bring our feet back to the floor and back to the edge of our seat. Let's start with our left side. So let's extend your left leg in front of you. You can leave your heel on the ground or you can pick it up about an inch off the ground. And we're going to hinge at the hips slightly, keeping our back straight, and then point and flex that left foot. I don't think you can see my foot. We're flexing and pointing, getting some stretch through that hamstring. Might have to lean forward a little bit more to get some stretch to that hamstring. The pointing and flexing is going to give you a little bit of nerve flossing. We'll switch sides, bringing our right foot forward, heel either on the ground or an inch above, hinging at the hips slightly forward, and then flexing and pointing our right foot. All right, that's our time. Thank you all for coming, and I hope that you had a great long weekend and we'll have an enjoyable short week. And Sophie will be back next week.
Thank you.